الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is our second Saturday, and today's session, today's maw'idah or talk will be about a very important topic in our life as Muslims. And it is one of the 5 pillars that Islam has been built upon, and that is zakah, or in some translation, as we say, alms or almsgiving. I will explain in details about the zakah, but before I start, I just want to emphasize upon that we have mentioned it last week, but I want to emphasize this point again, that Masjid Canberra, even though we are producing this video here at home, we come and pray here, it's closed. So please observe and perform your ibadat, your worship at home with your family only. And that's praying, fasting, reciting Quran, and especially praying Taraweeh. So please do that at home. There are a few people who are permitted by the Islamic Society of the city to come to the masjid for certain reasons. The first is the Imam, who is myself, and I do attend the masjid, and the Mu'adhin, and we have 2 Mu'adhins, Brother Hassan and Brother Suri. The masjid, many people rely on this, that they pray at home without calling their adhan. The caretaker or the maintenance person comes maybe once, twice a week just to make sure the masjid is clean, and if there is any issues with the maintenance, they will take care of it. The executive members of the using this video, he is the secretary of the Islamic Society of the ICT. And the last people who come here is the Imams Council, what includes myself and Brother Nuruddin Al-Mus'ab and Brother Adam Kunda, who are the members of the Islamic Council. We come here every Saturday, inshallah, during Ramadan, that is, every Saturday during Ramadan around this time, to produce this video, hopefully to help the community understand the religion and practice certain things. Let me get back now to the topic of today, which is zakah. I have made a few dot points here, as zakah is one of the very large, very vast topics in Islam, and as I said, it's one of the main pillars of Islam. And to talk about it in half an hour or 40 minutes is really never sufficient. But at least I want to remind the brothers and the sisters of their very important obligation. And I believe more literally translation to the meaning of it. But linguistically, zakah entails or means carries out the following meanings. Some of them is purity, honor, increase, growth, and blessings. In Sharia, or the definition according to the Islamic terminology, it says a specific obligatory amount taken from the Muslim's wealth and given or paid to its rightful recipients. When the wealth meets certain conditions required, then the zakah must be taken out of the person's wealth, and it's paid normally to there are 8 categories in Islam, and the most important ones are the poor and the needy. What are the conditions? The conditions is the nisab, and the nisab, which is like the threshold, the minimum of gold, 85 grams of gold. And I encourage everyone who have money to pay zakah on, to dollar terms. And the second condition, they have had that money for a full year without being touched, without being changed, like it was a surplus with them, so they have other money to spend, but this was untouched. Then they must pay the zakah on all of the wealth that they have. They calculate all the wealth they have after that, and they pay the zakah on it. Check how much the 85 grams of gold, all money or the wealth that you have, whether it's gold, silver, dollars, cash in the bank, and so on. The amount of the rate of the zakah is very small, really, compared to what other things that we pay in this country and people pay in other countries. It is just 2.5%. 2.5% of the collective, the wealth that a person upon which zakah is obligatory. Zakah becomes fard. I'll just mention here a few things, and I mentioned some of them already. Gold, silver, banknotes, and cash money. This is one of the types. The second is livestock, like camels, cows, sheep, and goats. The third is agricultural produce, such as barley, wheat, beans, corn, lentils, dates, olives, and raisins, and so forth. And the last one is merchandise goods, goods which are to be paid on them. Now, just to remind our brothers and sisters, and I know there are many brothers and sisters in this town who pay their zakat in Ramadan. And obviously, the reason is every Muslim knows it. We pay our zakat in Ramadan because we know in Ramadan good deeds are multiplied, as I mentioned in the last talk last Saturday, multiplied to 10 times, 70 times, 700 times, and even more. Wallahu yudha'ifu liman yasha. And therefore, many Muslims do pay their zakat in Ramadan. And since we have a crisis, health crisis throughout the world, that doesn't mean we should neglect our zakat. We must calculate our zakah from our wealth during Ramadan. At the time we had to disseminate the money to the recipients now, but we can keep it aside. We know, we tell our family this amount is not ours anymore, because when zakah is calculated, the amount of zakah is not yours anymore. It is now a manna in your hand, in your trust, until you give it and pass it on to the recipients of the zakah. So you are just a trustee after that. So you inform your family so no one touches it, just in case someone dies. Then the family knows this amount has to go to the recipients, the poor and the needy, wherever or whatever means they use to send it with or to give it to them. But let me just remind ourselves also zakah and its importance in our Sharia, in our Islam. Allah Azza wa Jal himself commanded that zakah should be paid. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah At-Tawbah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, خذ من أموالهم صدقة تطهرهم وتزكيهم بها. Meaning, of their wealth, take a sadaqah, take zakah, take alms, so that you may purify and sanctify them with it. وقال تعالى وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة, meaning, and establish the prayers. بني الإسلام على خمس شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وحج البيت وصوم رمضان. رواه البخاري ومسلم رحمهم الله. The Prophet ﷺ said, Islam is built upon 5 pillars, testifying that there is none worthy of worship, worthy of ibadah except Allah Azza wa Jal, and that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger or the messenger of Allah. Establishing prayers, as-salah, giving or paying az-zakah, making or performing the pilgrimage, al-hajj, to the house of Allah in Mecca, and fasting the month of Ramadan, which we are in right now. This hadith was reported by Imams and Bukhari and Muslim rahimahumullah ta'ala. It is worth noting that as-salah and az-zakah have been mentioned alongside each other in the Holy Quran, according to some ulama, more than 80 times. This is to emphasize the great importance of az-zakah. But these ibadat also, they have other objectives, other jobs to do, for such, which is physically sort of done by the body, so that also takes care and purifies the body. Whereas zakah, it purifies the wealth, the money, the properties, whatever we have. When we pay it, so it purifies us from the inside by getting closer to Allah, being more pious, having more taqwa, as well as purify our money. So we feel comfortable spending that money on our kids, that it has been purified, it's pure, and it is halal, inshallah. The recipients of zakah, as I mentioned earlier, there are 8 groups. Yeah? There are 8 areas that Allah Azza wa Jal has mentioned in the Quran for zakah to be given to them. I'm not going to mention all of them, but the most important ones, and the ones perhaps they are needing most of it, of the zakah, but you can pay it to any of the 8, there's no problem at all. If it's available, you can do it. But the most sort of common with the zakah go is to the poor and the needy, al-fuqara and al-masakin, as they were the very first 2 to be mentioned by Allah Azza wa Jal in the Quran. Now, in a circumstance, zakah is meant to be paid immediately to reach the recipients so they can benefit from it. But the ulama have allowed zakah to be delayed if there are valid and good sharia reasons. Like what we are having now, it's very difficult these days to send money overseas or to send it to other people, and it's available for you to disseminate and give this money away to the people who deserve it, to the people who Allah has told us to give it to them, then you do it. So delaying it, there is inshallah no harm at all upon the Muslims. Now, as I said earlier, that in the Nisab zakah is 85 grams of gold. You check how much on the day they check how much the gold, 85 grams of gold is worth, and then calculate on this. You can also check the silver, 495 grams of silver also can be used, and the same, inshallah, either of them will be accepted, and may Allah help us all. And the Muslims have to pay also, and that is called zakat al-fitr. Zakat al-fitr is the ones that are associated and relates to Ramadan. So zakat al-fitr, it is the second type of alms that Muslims pay or give to the poor and the needy. It's due upon the end of the fasting month of Ramadan. So towards the end of Ramadan becomes, just before the Eid prayer, becomes absolutely compulsory to pay. But we are permitted to pay a few days earlier, etc., so it can reach the recipients. Again, hopefully everyone will be able to find a way to make his or her zakat al-fitr reach the poor and the needy wherever they may be, Muslim poor and needy, wherever they may be, before the Salat al-Eid. I mean, one of the methods that people use, and I myself use it sometimes, in fact, I use it every year, to be honest with you, I contact some of my relatives and my family from my village, my town in Palestine, and I ask them to pay it on my behalf to the people who are in need of it there. And then, either during Ramadan in the past we send it, but otherwise we put it aside again here at our house, and then we send it to them when time allows to do that. That can be done also with zakat, if people wish to. So I hope this is clear, and people will, inshallah, try to do that. Now, the wisdom behind that, some ulama, I just mentioned this before I finished, some ulama mentioned what is the wisdom behind paying zakat al-fitr, which is zakat of the fasting month. They said it purifies the fasting person from whatever shortcomings he or she may have indulged in or being associated with during the fast month, such as useless and foolish speech, minor mistakes, and so on. And we touched on that last week, that how you protect yourself, sound, not to indulge in false speech, and so on and so forth. So this is a purity from mistakes that maybe have been made. The second one, which is very important, is to enrich the poor and the poor some money in order to make their kids feel happy. So this is why we give it at that time. So these people do not have to be listening to their towns. Like if the rice is the most common, you give them rice. If it's wheat, the bread, then you give them wheat. If it is date, you give them dates, and so on. And the ulama calculated that is about 3 kilograms of this. In here, which, as you know, we don't have many recipients of the zakat al-fitr, so we send it in monetary terms. And in the monetary terms, we checked earlier to see what is the amount this year, and it varies between $10 and $15. So it's entirely up to you how you want to how much you want to pay. You want to pay a little bit more, a little bit less. After all, it is all sadaqah, it is all charity, and that will be in your book of good deeds in the hereafter, inshallah. We have received a question from some brothers and some people, and that's what they said, and that's what they claim. I mean, we don't really know anything about these organizations who are overseas and what they're doing. I mean, we don't even know much about the ones who are in here, but at least the ones in here, maybe some of us have tried it before. So we cannot say give it to them or not to give it to them. What's important about zakat al-mal, use zakat, and that is your responsibility. You are responsible and in charge to do it right. What's important is that zakat al-mal must reach the recipients, the rightful recipients that Allah mentioned in the Quran, amongst them and the poor and the needy. That is your responsibility, how to make sure that your zakat money has reached these people. We cannot tell you how to do it. We gave some examples of zakat al-fitr, but entirely up to you. There are organizations in this country, they are good organizations, they have a good reputation, that people have tried them before, so you can check on them. Otherwise, you will find your own means, your own way to send or to disseminate your zakat al-mal to the right recipients. With this, I will stop here and I will pass on the mic or the tool and how we become more wise, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد one thing that you give it by force. Zakat, it's what mentioned is to please Allah Azza wa Jalla. It's a pillar to give your zakat. And Ibn al-Qayyim al-Juziyya rahimahullah, he said there is as-sabr sabran. Sabr, patience. There is two types of sabr. There is sabr ala al-ma'asi and there is sabr ala al-ibadah. He said, as-sabr ala al-ma'asi sometimes very easy before there is the bad consequences of committing sharia. There is a hikmah why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to avoid committing the sins. You lose your reputation, you affect your health. But as-sabr ala al-ibadah, he said the most hardest thing to give it to others is not easy. What you have to do, you have عظم الأجر مع عظم المشقة. That means one, subhanallah, you fight with the shaitan and yourself, and you take this money and with happiness. Something very important in our ibadat is to enjoy this ikhram. Some people, they think that salat is like a mountain in his or her shoulder, $2,000, or $400,000, and you will see that it's very big amount. No, never think like that. For sure, he's going to increase your money. He's going to put barakah in your money. What is a barakah? Al-barakah is an element, we can't see it, we can't touch it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the barakah, you see a person having, subhanallah, his salary is 1,000. Subhanallah, you see him happy in his life, you have a good relation with his family, with his kids, and you see the other side, a person, he got 1,000 and 1,000, maybe millions, but his life is miserable because there is no barakah. This is what I want just to advise myself and my brothers and sisters. When you give, you have to put in your mind, you are not going to please anyone. You are going to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And put this one in your mind. The shaitan said to Allah Azza wa Jalla, أَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. If you understand the Arabic, Tawkidan, he said, for sure, there is no doubt, I'm going to stand still in your way, the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Put in your mind that no one will stop you. Shaitan will come to you. You said, no, you gave last month, you gave sadaqah, count it, you do this one, it comes to you. You have to say that I'm going to please Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah asked me to pray 4 rak'at, I have to fulfill this 4 rak'at. Allah asked me to give this 2.5 from my wealth, I will do it, and I will with happiness. I will rush, to reach the poor people. And put in your mind, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in hadith, in every day there is 2 angels. They will make part of the wealth or the life of the person who subhanAllah is stingy, skipping subhanAllah his money for his life or something like this. But I want to say in this situation, especially what is happening around the world now. Many people are losing their jobs, and here, alhamdulillah, people, they got subhanallah something, subhanallah, from the government, from the steward, to you. But if you, subhanallah, you check with your country to target many goals in my life, to make people happy, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, subhanallah, yafrah, subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be happy when the people, subhanallah, put this happiness in the hearts of the poor people, of others. That's why I want to say this one. And what he said, the Sheikh Muhammad, also about, even we spoke to Sheikh Adam and Sheikh Muhammad about the fatawa. It's not easy, my dear brothers and sisters. It's not easy to give the fatawa, and there is many opinions about the superannuation. We have about insurance, what Sheikh mentioned. But about super, I want to say something. If you, there is many opinions of the ulama about this one, and inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala will discuss with Sheikh Muhammad and Sheikh Adam, maybe next week or the week after, sisters, about it. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. And inshallah we'll talk to my brother Sheikh Adam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. An act you can add to the Tower of Islam, you add, because many people out there, they're listening to learn. They're not listening to criticize or to respond here. And for those people, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put them in the list, الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. Good news for those people who hear a lot, but because they have good hearts, they will take the good one and they follow that. But about zakat, as we said last time about ibadah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Holy Quran what is the effect of ibadah on a believer. This is a roadmap for human society, for human beings, a channel of righteousness. If you do this practice, your heart will submit and do the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And zakat is one of the wills of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And being able to do this, it is a gift. It is a divine with nothing. And we leave this world with nothing. It means whatever we are dealing with, we are using it. The money is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He put it in our pockets to test us. And nobody in this dunya want to fail a test. So zakat is one of the 5 faculties of Islam. When we talk about Islam, it has pillars. And without these pillars, you don't have Islam. And zakat is one of them. And the Sheikh mentioned before, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تطهرهم وتزكيهم بها. Take from their wealth. Imagine this sentence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave order to the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam to take something from you. Will you say no to the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? Never. Will you say no to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Never. Why? Because Allah told us, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu istajibu lillahi wa lirrasul idha da'akum li. And his messenger Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, when they are calling you and inviting you to do something that will give you life. Zakat, but tomorrow you may be in the position when you need the zakat. But if people don't give it to you, see what will happen. And I will close with this. Every living thing on earth, it is Allah's responsibility, it is Allah's duty to provide them. Can you imagine when Allah employ you to do a job for Him? Feed the poor people. I am the Razak, but I'm using you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who hear and benefit from what they heard. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Adam. Jazakallah khairan, Brother Dean, for the valuable input. Inshallah, we will meet again next week. We have not decided on the topic yet. Inshallah, we'll discuss this issue after this video is finished. But I just want to emphasize the point before we finish, the point of the masjid. The masjid is closed. I cannot emphasize this point enough. The masjid is closed. It closed the school a little bit earlier even than other schools, and also they closed the masjid because of the fear of any harm that goes to any person in the masjid or taken from the masjid outside to his family or to the public in general. And we are cooperating with the rules. We are cooperating with the government who are doing hopefully a great job in protecting us, and as we hope that stays the same, and we hope that will go through to the whole of Australia and the whole world, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring His mercy to continue. Don't give up. Don't say, I have prayed and my prayer wasn't answered. Allah knows when and how the prayer will be answered, and the hadith is very clear about that. So we continue to pray, we don't give up, we don't despair from Allah's mercy, and we keep asking Allah to save the world from this disaster, from this pandemic, and take away the coronavirus and any other virus that is made. The executive committee members and the Imams Council who meet on Saturdays as of this time. So hopefully, inshallah, we'll have another meeting. We'll bring some benefit to you and to ourselves as well. With that, I finish. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all those who are listening to us, and may the blessing be upon all of you during this blessed month of Ramadan. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.